Hello. Hey, Christy. Let me see if I can hear you. Hey,
Okay, I'm here.
I can hear you.
Unmuted. Yeah.
Yay. All right. So now what I'm going to do, Christy, is I'm just going to go over to our YouTube channel real quick and see if I can see us live. And then I should be able to get a link from there to post in the Facebook group. So
Okay.
let me see if I just give me just a
You're
second.
gonna have to teach me your ways because I have no idea what you're doing.
We had to learn to do all this stuff, and it was just crazy. No, okay. It's not showing up live yet, but I don't know. Okay, we're gonna do this. It's recording. We're gonna do this, Chrissy. It's recording, but I don't see it live on YouTube yet. But there,
Well,
there could be a delay. There could be
okay.
a little bit of a delay with it, which makes it just that much more interesting that this is the opening of our interview. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead, Christy. Thank you so much for being on here today. I'm so excited that you are a brand new sales
Yeah,
director.
I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited. I think I can make this gallery. Let's see. There we are. So we're side by side. Okay, perfect. So I was so thankful that you said yes to an interview. And, you're one of those people that innately inspires women. And I know that it's a God gift. I know it's just part of who you are. And, I know you, maybe some of our national area knows you, but not everybody. Not everybody, they don't know who Christy Jordan is yet. So at fall retreat, they're going to get to see you, meet you, hug you, hear from you on stage, hear more about, you as a person and as a mother. But I thought it would be cool to kind of share with people that maybe are pondering more with their Mary Kay business. They're maybe they've been part of Mary Kay for 5 years or 10 years. Maybe they're different and they're a brand new consultant. But what inspired them was like, oh, I want the big picture. I want the car. I want to become a sales director. Like, what does that look like? And they're still trying to figure that out. So we came up with some questions that maybe the people, we'll call them in the audience, would be curious about. And so one of the first things I just want to ask you is like, why Mary Kay? Like, why did you say yes to Mary Kay?
Well, I will have to say that Mary Kay is the only company that is innovative and for women and built by a woman. The flexibility and the rewards that you reap for your hard work is amazing. I love that Mary Kate has no top out.
Mm.
Um, I get to be in control of my pay. And, working on commission, I know that for some people it can be a little scary, but um, I would rather be in control of that than working for an hourly wage that may not ever go up,
Mm.
So it's, you weigh that out too. And plus there's so many reasons why. There's just so many reasons. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. There's a list. I mean, for my family, for the flexibility, for the people that I meet, for the ladies' lives that I get to impact, and seeing them succeed. Like that is probably the most
Mm.
rewarding is when somebody texts me and says, "Oh my gosh, I just had $1,000 party. I'm so excited. I met so and so and so," and they tell me all these stories, and then they're like, "I learned it all from you," and I'm like,
Mm.
"Oh my gosh." Um, so that's why Mary Kay. It's the legacy that I look forward to leaving my children. That they can too. They don't have to believe in the lie that we have to work 9 to 5 every day for someone else. Um, and one thing that I keep telling myself that keeps pushing me for motivation is, um, and I've been living by this motto is that I'm going to be either building someone else's dreams or building my own. Um, so if I'm working towards building my dreams, that's what it's about. Um, So that's why Mary Kay.
Yeah. Christy, I think that you are always like a big thinker. I don't know if was that normal for you to think outside the box, or was there like fear, attributed to, oh, doing Mary Kay full time, like that's kind of scary, or not really? Have you always been that person that's kind of like, there's, looking for opportunity to create something different? What would you say
Well,
about that?
well, I think that you have to learn to look for opportunity. I don't think that I've always been a big thinker. Um, I think that I've had to learn, I've had to grow myself and step out of that box. And that's what really has taught me to be a bigger thinker. So I don't think that without Mary Kay, that my vision would have broadened, um, for what I could do for my generations, so that big think tank there has come from Mary Kay. I think that we can get very, very caught up in the everyday 9 to 5, um, think that we're doing mundane things. But being able to dream with Mary Kay has allowed me to be a bigger thinker. So I don't think you have to be a bigger thinker right now. Like, of course, I'm normal. I'm a human. I have fear. Of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, there has been fears, but that's normal because we're human. So, if there's anybody listening to this that has a thought of, oh my gosh, I would love to do this full time, and but you're scared to step out and you're scared to leave, just do it. And that's normal. Just know that it is a normal thing to have fears and it's okay. But how long are you going to sit there? How long are you going to let those fears dictate your entire life? You're going to let 10 years go by. You're going to end up being 60 and 70 years old and still having the same fears, or, can you face those fears and leap? Because then there's always the thought of what if.
Do you think that thought, Christy, has kind of propelled you to do Mary Kay now, like at this time in your life? Why?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that the whole realization of either building my dream for my generations or building someone else's, that was a huge light to me.
Mhm. Got it. And you've been part of Mary Kay because Bridget, Howard and Adams is your, I was going to say national, your sales
Say it.
director. I know. She's
Say it.
having a blast in Hawaii right now on the top sales director trip. But, um, you know, Mary Kay has been one of those things where, you are great, Christy, at what you do, your day job. And there's probably a lot of people out there that are really great, at their day job too. So you think like that difference maker is probably like that realization that you can build an empire like you do for your other company. You can build that empire for yourself. But then is there anything extra? Is there anything else that is probably motivating you or driving you right now?
Well, I feel like I am, that I want to do it all. I want every opportunity. I want everything that I can put in my pocket for the kids. I mean, you think about raising kids, and it's expensive. It's not cheap to raise children, um and raise them well, raise them the way that I want to raise them. Um so I mean, I don't know. I guess you're gonna have to redirect
No,
me
no,
a
that's
little
good
bit.
because like the kids are your motivation, the future.
Yeah, I mean, extra. Yeah, that's extra. Yeah, is my children, my generations, what I leave behind, so that my children won't struggle. I want them to see me hitting goals and know that they can too. And that to believe in the first and foremost thing is you have to believe in yourself. That's the first foremost thing. And I want my children to be able to know and grow up in that environment that they can be anything they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Anything they want to be. As long as they work hard and they do good, they can be anything they want to be and they believe in themselves.
Absolutely. So true. So we know, well, I know that you work full-time job like many consultants that are starting out doing this business. They may not be stay-at-home moms. Sometimes we find those women and they have that perk, and then sometimes they don't. So how do you find like that inner fortitude to keep working your Mary Kay business if there's that 9 to 5, or maybe it's the 8 to 6 or whatever? Like, how do you find that internal fortitude to not just go home at 6 o'clock at night and be like, I'm tired, like I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
doing a party right now. Like, I don't know how those people do it. Like, was that ever something that you had to fight, to overcome? And like,
Well,
go
yeah.
ahead.
I mean, guess what? I am once again, just like you guys that are listening, and I have those thoughts when I come home from work. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to this party and da, da, da. However, when you have to just do it. You just have to do it. You got to put your big girl pants on and you have to go do it, because I promise you that every time you tell yourself, I'm tired, or you try to make excuses and then you go and you do it, oh my gosh, you're going to be like, when you get in that car afterwards, you're like so pumped up and you're like, I am so glad that I did
Right.
that. So that is the driving force too for energy. It's one step at a time. It's one achievement at a time. It's one party that went really good. And, I made $300 profit in an hour. I mean, what job can you do that at? Like,
Right.
really?
Right.
There's not any other job. So, yes, I can definitely get energized about that. And so that keeps me going when I get home. And of course, of course I'm tired,
Mhm.
but the bigger picture.
Yes, y'all, that's what you need to write down. The bigger
It's
picture.
the bigger picture. It
So
is,
true.
excuse me, looking ahead. Where do I want to be in a year? Where do I want to be in 6 months? Where do I want to be in 5 years and 10 years? I just turned 40 and I want to when 30 years from now, like I want to be retired as a national,
Yeah.
earning my 65%, five highest
Right.
paychecks for the next 15 years. And if something happens to me, I don't have to worry that it doesn't go to my kids. That's what I want. So that bigger picture, like
Mhm.
I think so many times that we think of right now, like right now
Mhm.
thinking. And you can't think like if you want to be successful, you have to look ahead.
Mm. So maybe that's it, Christy. Maybe that's been your key, is like the bigger picture. Because if we think about how we feel right now, you're not going to feel like it. Or if you
Mm-mm.
think, okay, well, if you're just going to do Mary Kay, a little bit or part time, that bigger picture, is not there to propel you to work when you don't feel like it. So is a really great tip, Christy. Is like, what's that big audacious thing that you can work after, that you can complete? Because if not, is it worth it, to go do that occasionally? I don't know. It just depends, guys, on like what motivates you. You're giving me some things to think about. So, can you give me some examples? Because, like, tell us how many kids you have. I know you have a full time job. You're married. You got a mama. You got like a sister. All these people in your life.
Mhm.
So, like, how do you sprinkle Mary Kay into everything that you got going on? Like, kind of give examples. If they're a busy mom too, like, what does it look like?
So I think one of my greatest assets that I have gotten really comfortable with is being comfortable with myself. I think that that is one big thing that how I have sprinkled Mary Kay into my life and to others' lives is
Mhm.
because I'm super comfortable with myself. Like, this is me. This is what you get. This is where we're going. This is our goal. This is how I'm going to teach you. I have a plan. And when you go in with a plan, guess what? You don't have to do 20 million things and feel like you're all over the place. You focus. You focus on what you're doing right now to create your preferred future.
I like that.
So, it might be coming home at 5 after work and spending an hour on the phone, making phone calls, booking parties, spending that little bit of a time to fill my date book up. Um, and then, you're in control of your schedule, so you get to pick when you do parties. And then also, helping others succeed, being there at their parties. Like, girl, if you book that party, I will go with you. I will go with you. I will speak. I will help you sell. I will give you whatever. I'm like, do you need tickets? Do you need sales tickets? Do you need profile cards? What do you need? Do you need, roll up bag sheets? Like, what are we going to do to help you be successful? And when you have that intention in your heart to help other people be successful, you're going to be very well taken care of.
Yeah, I can tell that like helping people is like a big thing for you. Like if you do Mary Kay, you're wanting to do Mary Kay not just to help yourself, not just to help your family, but you're really inspired by helping other people achieve their own personal goals and financially help them. And I think that always when comes from like a grateful heart, like when you have a super grateful heart, you want to give, and you also like I feel like Chrissy, like you want to make sacrifices if it can help someone else.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
It's good. It's good because it kind of is allowing us to kind of assess, am I willing to be inconvenienced if it makes a difference in someone's life?
Yes.
Or do I not want to make an inconvenience because I'm really just worried about me? Yes. So it's really giving us something to think about there, Christy. Okay. Another question is, did you have family members not support you when you just said, I'm going to go get a car and I'm going to become a sales director with Mary Kay? And they were just like, what's that? Why are you doing that? And you don't have time and blah, blah, blah. Did you hear any of that resistance?
So I have a very small family. And luckily all of my family members, all of like, not many, totally support me. But, I did have pushback from really some of my closest friends. And that's okay. So, you have to let it go. You have to let it go. And that's the best thing that I've done is just let it go. God has already ordained. He has the people that you need to be working with, and you just have to obey and go find them. You do the work and God will bring it together. So I don't even worry about the pushback. I'm like, okay, well, you don't want to do this with me, that's fine, but you're going to watch me get a pink Cadillac and that's going to be just fine. And I will ride you around in that pink Cadillac. I will. And that's fine. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sulk? Like, what are you going to do? Like, are we sulking or are we like, okay, it's the bounce back. You have to have bounce back. If you don't have bounce back, you're going to have to learn how to get bounce back, and you're going to learn in Mary Kay how to get bounce back. And it's good for you. It's good for your personal growth, and it's good for others to see, because I will tell you what, not only in Mary Kay will you have to have bounce back, but you will have to have that in life.
Absolutely. For sure, Christy. So it kind of goes back to, you're comfortable with yourself and you're comfortable with who you are. And you said that was like one of your greatest assets with that, because y'all, you're going to have a whole lot of people that don't get it, that do not support, that roll their eyes or say, why are you doing that for? Or whatever it might be. But y'all, they just simply don't understand. And God's going to give you dreams that are so big that other people can't understand the assignment that He has given you. So I think just knowing that you've been chosen for something special, if you feel it, you know it. And at that point, it's between you and God. It ain't between you and God and XYZ. So it's like being bold, confident, brave enough in your own skin to know that difference.
And you just smile and wave.
Smile and wave.
Smile and wave.
Love it. So, and this we've kind of already is talked about that, Christy. Do you want to say anything else about how do you handle people that don't want to support the goal, or maybe you're at a party and you're casting your vision and they're rolling their eyes at you? Is there anything else that you want to say about that?
I just keep going.
Yeah.
You just ignore it because you know what you want. If you know what you want, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks.
That's right. That's right. And look at it too, guys, is like if someone is like that to you, God's weeding people out for you. He's already saying no, and so we may pursue someone that obviously he does not have in mind for your team.
And I have done that. I have tried. And I'm like, maybe God's just saying no. And that's okay. Like, we have to remember that. Like, sometimes God says no, and it doesn't work out how you want it to work out because he's protecting you.
Yeah, I totally believe that, Christy. Oh my gosh. Now, I know that you are locking down this first Mary Kay car, your Chevy Trax. You had great, you earned your directorship in like 42 days, which was great. I take it you're one of those rip the Band-Aid off people and get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done. So what was some of that, like, what if you were to give some suggestions to people on like how they could do it fast? Maybe they don't even have a recruit yet. Like maybe they want to get to 8 and go into DIQ on the 1st of October and come to Autumn Advance as a DIQ. What would you tell them? Like, could they do it, Chrissy? Like, could they get 1 to 8 in the next 3 weeks?
I mean, we didn't even start. We didn't even start DIQ until the middle of June.
Okay.
And so I don't even know how many days. I just keep saying it was 12 days. It was 12 days. We had 12 days.
You had 12 days to get your 8.
To get to my 8. And we finished with 14.
Wow. Y'all hear that?
We went into DIQ with 14. And it really, and I know that everybody's heard this before. It's a decision, you decide. But I'll tell you what, you have to set your mind. You have to go ahead and be like, okay, let's just do this. Let's just do it. And this is what we're doing. And it really is. Like, I've heard it so many times, like, it's just a decision. It's just a decision. But man, the power of like really deciding and being like, this is what we're doing. And then you tell everybody. Mm-hmm. You tell everybody your goal. You tell everybody where you're going, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. So you have to know why you're doing it. And you have to be bold enough to share it. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your why? Those are questions that you need to evaluate and ask yourself. And when you figure that out, I mean, don't take too long. It don't have to be complicated. Like sometimes I think we just overcomplicate. Yeah. Just do it. Yeah. Just, you're cheating yourself. Just do it. You're cheating yourself and you're cheating other people.
Yeah. I think it can be. Well, I think it could be a mindset too, Christy, that someone may say, well, I'm just too new. Like, should I go for DIQ? I've only been in the company for a month. Like, don't I need to learn how to do all this other stuff first? Like, what would you say to that? Maybe they are a big vision person. Maybe they do everything, all the way. I don't think that they necessarily have to wait. Do you?
Absolutely not. And I tell people, I'm like, you're going to learn as you go. There is no way to learn everything that Mary Kay has to offer you in a month. You're not going to be able to learn it. You're going to learn in the doing. So as you're doing and I'm teaching you, that's when you're going to learn. And we're going to do the 8. We're going to do the 8 right now. Mm-hmm. Right. No reason for you to wait because you're procrastinating. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to procrastinate.
Give me like an example, Christy, of like, how do you think you attracted those 8 people to join your team? Was it people that you knew or was it people that you just met at the parties?
Some of them were people that I knew. I think that my prayers were very direct and very specific with the Lord. I did have, I call it a powwow with the Lord before I even started. And I told him, I'm like, okay, if this is what you have for me, I will do the work. I will be committed to do the work. but you're going to have to bring this together for me. Like, you're going to have to do the rest. When you bring your best, God will do the rest, and he will. And so I had to believe that God was working for me in behind the scenes, and he still is. And I had seen so many things, happen over the course of the last 2 months where it can only be divine. I mean, I had somebody find me on my website and was like, I haven't had a Mary Kay lady, and your name popped up, and I didn't even know her. Didn't even know her. And she joined my team. She joined my team. And so I think the biggest thing is, like I said before, is being comfortable in who you are. When people know that you're comfortable in who you are and this is what they're getting and that you're real, it is the power of attraction. People will be attracted to you, and they will ask you questions, and they will come to you.
I love that, Christy. So can you kind of give an example of like, what was that vision you were saying to people that you think made people attracted to you? Can you kind of like whether it was at a party or whether it was someone that you just met at the hospital while you're there visiting a family member? Like, I know you recruited somebody at the hospital while you were there. So like, there's got to be something. If you just you're at the hospital, you're visiting your mom that had an unfortunate emergency, and she's doing great. God has intervened on her behalf. But you got to recruit at the hospital. And see, a lot of people go, well, I'm at the hospital, so I can't do Mary Kay. You know what I'm saying?
So I will tell you that story. So me and my daughter, Katie, were getting off the elevator, and I'm looking like a hot mess. I mean, I had been up. We had slept on a twin size bed. I mean, it was not like ideal to look pretty. And we're getting off the elevator, and this woman comes towards us. She's in this bright melon suit with this lavish, beautiful necklace on. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, oh, I've got to have her on my team. And I'm sitting here staring at her like this. And I literally look behind me as she's getting on the elevator, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go find her. Well, we went and did what we needed to do. And I told the Lord when I was walking away, I was like, I need her on my team. Lord, I need her on my team. So we go back up to mom's room, and lo and behold, guess who walks through the door?
Wow.
That lady.
Oh,
the lady walks through the door.
I've got cold chills.
And I have literally prayed. I'm like, God, just bring people to me. Just bring the people that you need me, we need each other, that need to be on my team. And that's just one example. But now I will tell you. So she sits down, she starts talking. She's a chaplain for the hospital. And I kid you not, I swear I heard the Lord's voice say, grab that nourishing oil right there and use it. And I said, okay. So I grabbed it and I set it down on the arm of the chair in between us, and my lips were really dry. So I take that nourishing oil and I squirt a little bit on my hand. I put it on my lips. She looked at me and she said, what are you using? And I said, this is Mary Kay's nourishing oil. It's like, my lips are so dry. So I wasn't even like trying to sell it to her or nothing. She was like, oh my gosh, Mary Kay, I love Mary Kay. She's like, I used to do Mary Kay back in the day. She was like, I just hadn't known anybody who does it. I hadn't ran into anybody who does it in a really long time. And I thought, and so she goes on, and I thought she was going to say, well, I just might place an order with you. No, she said, well, I just might join your team, and then we can just work Atlanta area and become directors together. And I was and so apparently she already knew about like directorship and stuff like that because she'd been exposed. And I was like, girl, I was like, if you're serious, I was like, we will do this. I was like, let's do this.
Wow.
And so, and she was talking about how, she didn't think it was a coincidence. And I was telling her about the elevator, and she was like, oh, I saw you too. I saw you looking at me. I saw you. Like, she knew. So that's just one of it just be bold, like do what God asked you to do. I mean, if he says turn right, turn right. If he says go left, go left. If he says grab that nourishing oil right there beside you and put it on, you better put it on. I mean, imagine if I wouldn't have obeyed that.
Well, and do you think too, Christy, like the more obedient that you are, the more he can trust you to do what he's asking you to do. So, sometimes we see people and it's like everything they touch just turns to gold. But y'all, what if they're just being brave enough to do what God's asking them to do over and over and over again?
Well, I mean, this ain't luck.
No,
Absolutely not.
no,
Could
no.
not say that. I think sometimes people look at me and they say, "Oh, she's just good at it. She just does good at it." No, it's because I've worked my rear end off. That's why. I learned the craft. If you can learn the craft and study and get good at what you're doing. And how do you do that? You do it over and over. You do the same thing over and over again, and you become an expert at your craft.
Yeah, absolutely. And Christy, I don't know if these things, but could you kind of give everyone an estimate of how many faces? Was it 50? Was it 100 that you think you did to get to directorship in a couple of months?
It was about 30.
30 facials?
30 faces.
30 faces.
Yes.
And you recruited 24 out of your 30 faces.
Actually, it was 27 when we finished.
Oh, 27. 27. So
yeah,
you booked purposeful people to have facials with you, parties with you that
yes.
you wanted to recruit.
So that's another thing. If you want to make this purposeful and intentional and you want to get there fast, you got to look at who you're booking. I was very intentional of who I wanted to book. I made a list of everybody I wanted to book, and I had, and I'm not like picking people out or anything like that, but I wanted to be intentional because I don't have the time to not be intentional. So who are you booking? I mean, do you know? I mean, I'm not gonna I hate to say it, but do you know that she
Influential people.
yeah,
She can make it
influential.
work. She can afford a kit. She can
Yes,
afford
she can
business
afford a
cards.
kit.
She
She
can
can
come to
afford to
Jumpstart.
start.
Yes.
Absolutely. Are you booking those people, or are you um decreasing yourself by booking someone that doesn't intimidate you?
Very good. Very good, Christy. Very good. But then also, I mean, obviously you had to follow up. You had to be at those facials, Christy,
Yeah.
and share a vision for those people to all want to join your team.
Yes.
For that many people to want to
Yes.
join your team. So we'll end, Christy, with paint a vision of what you said to people that you think made them want to come be with you.
So my main reason why I'm doing this, I mean, I told them my why is I don't want to work 9 to 5 for somebody else for the rest of my life. I don't want to miss my children's events. I work Saturdays every week. I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. My kids can't even play sports because who's going to take them? Do I want somebody else? Like I'm literally paying somebody to help with kids, which is fine occasionally, but do I want them to be the one that gets the best of my kids, or do I want to be that person? And I want that for other people. I did have an unfortunate event with work. And don't get me wrong, I do love designing. I love all of that. But I took a pay cut. I had a huge pay cut yearly, and that's what spurred this. I was like, well, I have got to figure something out to do. And it's not fair, but sometimes God pushes you out of doors so that he can open new doors. And I don't know that I would be here as a director within 42 days had I not had that pay cut. So in a sense, I'm thankful.
Yes.
And I think that you have to be thankful so you don't get bitter. But how is your job treating you? How are the people that you work for? Are you building their dream, or are you building your own? Where are you going to be in 20 years? Where are you going to be in 10 years? What's your family going to look like? Are they going to remember that you were there, or are they going to remember that you worked all the time? That was really the bigger vision, because it gave people hope. And that is my vision, because I believe that every woman can have the same thing. They can have whatever they want to have. It's just believing in themselves and going for it. And I just said, who wants to come? Who wants to come with us? I can teach you how to do this. And
Who
then
wants
they
to
would
come with
watch.
us? Mhm.
Yeah. And they would watch, and they would watch the sales come in, and it inspired them.
Absolutely, Christy. I'm sure you guys that are watching this feel inspired too. But y'all, there was an invitation. I say a lot of times, what are you inviting people to come be part of? And it cannot be a process. It has to be a vision. What is the vision that you are inviting people to come be part of? But Christy's also, she took this Mary Kay journey, this little goal or big goal to be a director, but she said short-term sacrifice for long-term gain, get it done.
Mhm.
See, what happens to a lot of people is we'll do a little bit, we'll tiptoe, and then if we don't get what we want fast enough, and then we take off 2 weeks. And then we do it a little bit, but then we get sad because no one buys anything. And the husband can't believe you went and did a Mary Kay party and you didn't make any money for 2 hours and he had to watch the kids screaming. And then you take off 2 or 3 weeks and wait for him to calm down. And it's a cycle sometimes that I see consultants that get stuck in. But y'all, you've got to do it, and you got to do it big enough that you can see what it can be for you. And Christy's, you've showed us that, you've showed us the thousands of dollars of sales that you brought in, and not just you, but you're helping 27 recruits. I don't know what you're up to now with recruits. I don't even know, 35, 30 something.
I think it's, yeah, I think it's 29 right now.
Okay.
But yeah.
29, like they're coming.
But
they're coming in.
consistency. Yeah, consistency is key. Just keep on, just keep on going.
Just keep on until it's done, like until completed. Because if not, it's like a cycle of I almost did that. That's one of the things that pains me, Christy, is I don't want people to live a life of almost, right? And so be brave, go back to what Christy said at the beginning, is like, you got to believe in yourself that you can do this. And the great news is, speaking from experience, is whatever you don't think you're good at, God's got the rest, y'all. God's got that. He fills in the gaps. So you don't even
They
have
don't
to
know
have it
you're
together.
they don't know if you're doing it wrong. Ain't
They
nobody
don't.
know.
No.
Just do it. Just
They
put the
don't.
product on and rub. If you can get the product on people, you're good.
Yeah. We got this, y'all. We got this. Well, Christy, you are just amazing. You inspire all of us in the Vision National area. Thank you for bringing bringing the fire to, your community, but also our national area. And it's really going to be an overflow of your people are going to go do the same thing that you're doing. And that's really how we inspire, is by living it. We got to be about it, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. So Christy, you are one of those people that walk the walk. Thank you. Thank you for doing this interview for us. And now we have it on YouTube for everybody to watch it forever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, thank